let's get right into the first fight.
Bro, all the
Garcia.
cut that part out. Cut that part out.
The judges are ready. The fighters are ready. The world is ready. You two, make some noise if you are ready for combat robot.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers. Today, we're going to be talking about UFC Freedom 250, the greatest event in the world. My name is Omar. I'm joined by Luca and Landon.
What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
And without further ado, let's just start talking about it. This event, it's
Cinema.
the script writers, they were writing fire. It was a real-life Rocky movie. It is the most American event in the world, period.
Holy shit, yeah.
It's like a real-life Rocky movie. It's like when Rocky beat Apollo Creed. Like when Rocky beat Ivan Drago. When Rocky beat non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The historic setting at the White House.
They had like the colonial marching too.
Every American thing that you can think of was jam-packed into this one event. The build-up. So this is where we're going to talk about, everything that happened in the plot of the event that would later pay off. Little hints that the script writers left us, you know what I mean? First thing, let's talk about that first press conference in New Jersey.
The Josh Hokit press conference.
The debut of the Incredible Hulk. We saw he riled up Ilia and Alex Pereira like the two pound-for-pound aura maxers in the UFC. Look at this. Look at this image. I mean, we know now what would happen, what would transpire, but in that moment, these guys were the baddest guys ever. And again, the Incredible Hulk. This time he was shy.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the crazier things to experience because, I mean, it seemed like he wasn't going to be involved in the press conference for a while. He was kind of oddly quiet. And then all of a sudden he just took over, not in the way he had the other press conference. I mean, it was every single time somebody commented right after Josh Hokit gets on the mic, he does his shy impression. And the crowd loved it. Love him or hate him, he's an entertainer. And it was really cool to see in person, just like his antics. Especially at the end when he made that comment about Ilia Topuria's wife. Man,
Yeah.
that got everyone going. That got Ilia going. It was great.
And this would all turn out in Hokit's favor. If I didn't know any better, I'd think maybe Hokit was in that script writing room.
He is a Sith Lord.
The walkouts.
These are so cool, man, to see in person.
What can
Oh,
I
for
say
sure.
about this that won't get it demonetized?
In
That might get
December.
redacted or something. I don't
We're
know.
gonna get demonetized from nothing, bro.
We're getting a channel struck with 140 subs.
I had no idea they were going to do this, so it was kind of odd just seeing them walk out with random kids. At first, I thought, maybe these are their kids. But then, you see Steve Garcia walk out with like a black girl, and you're like, there's no way that's his daughter.
It would have been really good if Michael Chandler walked out with a black kid, then you really wouldn't know.
Michael Chandler does have 2 black sons.
Fun fact, none of them were adopted somehow.
Going on a
They're just-
tangent.
Sean Strickland, we got to talk about this. His first appearance in this event was at the press conference. He was in the audience somewhere. I was looking at videos. He was getting pictures with fans, getting autographs, signing cards. He was even leg kicking this one dude.
Oh, funny story. I did not know he was there until he was already leaving. But as I'm sitting there watching the press conference, this guy runs up to his friend who was standing in front of me, and he's showing him the video of the guy getting leg kicked by Sean Strickland. At first, it's kind of dark. I couldn't really tell who it was. I thought it was Volk. I thought Volk was in the back leg kicking people. And then I realized it was Sean Strickland, and so I had some early access to that. I didn't see it absolutely in person, but I kind of knew what was going on. And then, very shortly after it hit social media, it went viral. And that might have egged him on a little bit to something he ended up doing later. But yeah, Sean Strickland was certainly a character throughout the whole weekend.
That
Yeah, for not
moment,
being a part of the event too.
I feel like he should have gotten like a key part of the event, but
Yeah, he wasn't even on stage ever or anything.
He was banned, right?
he said he was banned,
Was
but Dana White said that he was not banned.
Well, Dana said he didn't ban him, so maybe Trump doesn't
Maybe.
like Sean Strickland.
Maybe.
That's why Secret Service grabbed him on day 2, which we'll get to.
Great foreshadowing from the script writers. We love to see some foreshadowing in a good script. Leave a couple clues, you know what I mean, in the beginning. And then when you rewatch it, you're like, oh yeah, I see where they're going with that.
Like you knew he was going to reappear after this. Like
Exactly.
it was too obvious.
Final thing. The big moment between the two champs facing off against each other. Ilia in this photo, he's confident. He knows that he's going to win. He just pushes Gaethje, gives him a little push, and Dana hold him back with that arm. Somehow they always get around that arm. This was a big moment. Just shows that Ilia just thought he could do whatever he wanted. We remember when he took Volkanovski's belt off of him.
This is also where I'd like to air a little bit of a grievance here, because nobody, I mean, not a single person, could actually see Ilia shove him unless you were looking at the big screen, because the media and security made a wall where you actually couldn't see the people on stage. You had to just listen to them while looking at the backs of security and people with cameras, which is, I thought it was kind of stupid. Like, what was the point of being there if you couldn't see anyone? Really cool moment between them that you just really couldn't see if you were standing there, which is kind of sucked.
Day 1, first day of the Fan Fest.
It was very hot.
The events were pretty good, though. I mean, I wasn't there for the first half, but cooking with Volk.
There was a lot more to do on day 2. So when I got there, they had a BMX motorcycle show where they were doing stunts and stuff, which was pretty cool. And it was really, really hot. I remember that. And then after that, they had colonial soldiers marching. It was, a tribute to like the Revolutionary War. And then right after that, it was cooking with Volk, which was a lot of fun. Volk was a great entertainer. They had a guy on stage who tried the Philly cheesesteak that he cooked. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that's when I met up with Landon.
Me and Omar got to meet Gene Silva, Kyle Barajo, Sean Brady, Dustin Jacoby.
I did include a photo from Gene Silva when I barked at him. Flipped the table on him. Great event, great weigh-ins. They pulled all the stops for it. The people skydiving with the flags tied around them. They had planes flying all around. An eagle came out of nowhere.
It nearly took my head off.
At one point, we thought that the fighters were gonna skydive down. You could feel the American blood course through in your veins.
The amount of USA chants that broke out over the weekend was, I mean, you couldn't count them.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm gonna start wearing a Josh Hokit bandana, everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Weigh-ins were good. Got to see Joe Rogan in person.
That's awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dana White, without him, none of this would be possible. How about it for Red and Chrissy, Hunter Campbell?
Got to see Alex Pereira again, donning his tribal headdress and face paint, full aura
Yes, sir.
maxing.
There's just a lot of cool events. I know you guys didn't really get to do them because Omar, you were there late and Luca had to leave early, but you can go look at the belt history from the very first one, from the 90s to the current one. You can get a picture taken with the UFC Freedom belt. You got a video holding a UFC belt. You got to do like a little entrance with it.
They had this meta AI stand.
Yeah.
Where you could AI yourself into videos and try the glasses. I got to meet my favorite fighter, Alejandro Pantoja.
Dude.
Probably the coolest person I've ever met.
Omar, me and him got to go in the octagon and take pictures in there. So there's a lot of cool extra stuff you could do.
The worst part were the lines.
Especially to get
You
in
had
the
to
building.
wait so long for anything.
It was not a big area and there was a lot of people there. And especially when you were trying to get in the gate, oh my God, it was like impossible. And we got there like at 2 o'clock on day 2.
Before we get to the day 2 slide, I don't know if I mentioned it, but DC took his shirt off.
It was fire.
All right, day 2. Day 2 was a good day for events. Laura Sanko Q&A. Dustin Poirier, Joshua Van, Mackenzie Dern. Fans got to ask questions. This Asian mom got a hat signed by Joshua Van. Mackenzie Dern's biggest fan got a shirt signed, and someone got a diploma signed by Dustin Poirier. People were asking some good questions, some questionable questions, but also some good
Terrible
questions. Some terrible ones too, but
Yeah, everybody just raised their hand and they had no question prepared.
And then if you didn't have one, you talked about oh my God, what inspires you? 10 different people asked Dustin Poirier that.
This guy was yeah, I'm having a challenging wrestling career. I have a bunch of up and downs. I need a big win. What can I do, Joshua Van? And he was believe in
Joshua Van was
yourself.
so nice.
That's it.
He was so nonchalant. It was so funny.
You should talk about the Tops Panini hut. It looked pretty cool, though. People were opening packs and they were giving out some free cards.
talk about impulsive. That happened later on in the afternoon. Logan Paul and Mike.
Mike was the worst. I can't stand him.
I mean, he was just
Oh,
pushing
no.
40, asking Marab.
Yeah.
It's like a Mr. Beast. What did he even say? It was imagine
Listen,
if he told me.
it was a hard watch. Let's just say that, but
Let's not forget that they took Marab away from us.
People forget I would have met Marab and Mackenzie Dern if it wasn't for Logan Paul.
Hey, at least you got to meet Nina Drama.
I forgot we should have talked about the pop-up shop.
The pop-up shop, that was kind of outside of the event. They mentioned somewhere that they had a pop-up shop. We went there.
Alex Pereira was there, but we were a little late for that. I did get a picture with Nina Drama though. I was there on time for that.
Glover. What about Glover?
Over was just hanging out in the corner, kind of like avoiding everyone. It seemed like a lot of people didn't recognize who he was, and then me and this other guy went over there and took a picture with him, and then I think we kind of snowballed it and made him go inside. So I feel bad, but I did get a picture.
Yeah, that's like one thing I want to
What did
mention.
y'all-
Whenever, you meet a celebrity or something, people line up. That's what happens. It's a snowball effect. And a lot of the people don't even know who the person is that people are taking pictures with. They just see people taking pictures. They form a line.
Yeah, I can guarantee you there were some people that took a picture with him that had no idea who he was.
Back to Impulsive Podcast. It was Logan Paul, Mike, Marab, Nina Drama was there. They also mentioned Tom Aspinall, that awkward moment. What is
What
it,
it
Dave?
take?
Yeah, that moment.
She basically just said she was confused. She just misunderstood the context.
I don't even know why they brought that up when they had Marab right there in front of them.
Rob was kind of up there just for show.
They were not doing anything with Marab. There was a point where he was on his phone. That's how disengaged he was because they weren't asking him any questions.
Because Mike was talking the whole time. He was like, Marab, you started a YouTube channel. Do you think you will become the next Mr. Beast? Like, what type of question is that?
Marab know who Mr. Beast is the better question.
Of course I know Mr. Beast.
I'm still mad I didn't get to meet him.
Don't worry, I'll meet you later, brother.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Nina Drama, she called up Sean Strickland. He just said something like, I'm going to try to get into the event. I didn't actually think it was going to happen.
He was with Craig Jones. I didn't realize that's who he was standing with.
He was with
but
Craig
it was-
Jones?
Yeah, that was Craig Jones.
Is that him right there?
Yeah, that's Craig Jones. Yeah, I didn't realize that until after when I looked at Sean's live and I was like, oh shit, Craig Jones is in there.
Landon was there. Landon, what was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, well, I was trying to get away from the impulsive for a while just because I was tired of Mike's 40-year-old ass talking about Mr. Beast. I got in the line for the monster. I talked to these guys about a parlay. I got my drink, and as I'm walking back over to the impulsive area, I see this giant circle forming around this guy in a hood. I quickly realized who that probably is, and I ran over. I mean, literally ran and got right up on the apron of the ring right as he's crawling in and realized that's Sean Strickland getting in. I mean, Sean got in the ring. A USA chant broke out, the 68th one of the day, probably.
USA! 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 USA!
He started chugging some fan's $10 beer. He threw it all over himself, threw it on the ring, he threw it on me. I got some beer on my shirt, on my Topuria shirt. And he just went crazy and the crowd got riled up. Eventually a bunch of US Marshals and Secret Service hopped in the ring. You can see it in the picture there. They took him out before anything serious could happen. But a bunch of people jumped in the ring to see him. It was a crazy scene. I got out of there eventually because I saw the cops coming. I didn't want to get in trouble, but that was crazy. Probably the craziest thing that happened all weekend, I think. At least from my experience.
And I just want to commend that because that's just S-tier journalism by Landon.
I just knew he was going to be there, man.
Yeah, he saw it happening. He had the instincts to jump in and he got the footage.
I've been looking around. I haven't seen a better angle of that interaction anywhere else on the internet.
Yeah, you were like right up in there. Pause.
Yeah, unpause.
Sean Strickland, classic Stone Cold-esque entrance into the WWE ring. So many people thought it was fake just because it was a WWE ring.
Yeah, the amount of comments about it being staged was insane because I can tell you for a fact it was not. By the way, the cops jumped in there and got him.
Man, if it was staged, I just got to give a round of applause to the script writers, to, UFC in conjunction with WWE.
Dude, if that was staged and they got a bunch of U.S. Marshals and Secret Service agents to be a part of it, that's fucking crazy. And I give them all the credit to it because that's insane.
This is what Sean Strickland's shenanigans and antics outside of the press conference at the Lincoln Memorial, this is what that led up to. How do you even get in without a ticket?
He posted on Twitter for somebody to let him in. Somebody came and scanned him and Craig Jones in with their tickets. He got in through that, and then he just sprinted towards the WWE ring.
Shout out to that individual.
How about the TSA people just let him through? Maybe they don't know who it is.
Had to be the worst security ever.
I feel a lot less safe knowing that they just let a banned person in just like that. But
we were the first to break that news.
Real journalism over here.
Yeah, real journalism. That's a combat crowbar W. You just got crowbarred. Is that going to be like a thing from now?
You just got crowbarred. Hell
no. You just got crowbarred. That's going to be the only time I say that.
It stayed in the video too.
After that, that was kind of the peak of the day. Because, after that...
Not much else happened after that.
I included like a grappling tournament by members of the military or whatever. I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah,
I was meeting Mackenzie Dern.
And then they also had the military concert.
That was right before the actual fight. The fight was delayed.
There was a lot of lightning, but there was
we lost Luca.
But did we get to see a rolling thunder?
No, he almost broke his neck though another way.
All right, let's talk about the fights. Main card recap. These fights were excellent. All ended either by TKO, KO, or like some sort of stoppage.
All finishes.
And I'm going to
Yeah.
include the Topuria one.
Well, it is a TKO on the record book.
So let's talk about it. We got the Trump walkout, Trump Dana White walkout through the White House. That was a long walkout.
Trump is like 80, so it took forever.
Yeah, he did not look good either.
Let's get right into the first fight.
Diego Lopes versus Steve Garcia.
All right, we know who won. Diego Lopes. This was a war. He really gave us what we wanted in the first round. He gave us a war. I thought my pick was going to be wrong. I thought I had it wrong after the first round because Steve Garcia won it. We just saw what Diego Lopes does best, and that just knocked his opponents out.
They were just fighting.
They're just fighting!
It was a war. At one point, they were just exchanging strikes. Steve Garcia got unlucky. He got chinned. Diego Lopes, he has power. He knocked out Gene Silva. Where do we go from here but, you know, a
Volk
trilogy?
Lopez 3.
Exactly. Volk Lopez 3. That's the only next move for Diego Lopes. Yair's unranked now, so they can't even fight, right?
That's fine. I forgot he was unranked. That was like the main one that I remember seeing. He went from like 4 to unranked. And he's just a banger. Like you said, a war, and
It was electric. There was
yeah,
lightning
great.
striking during the fight.
It's a good way to open the card. I'm glad they started with this. They knew what they were doing, and I mean, it set the tone for the rest of the way and everything else that was gonna happen.
Next up, Bo Nickal versus Kyle Daukaus. We got this one right too. We knew it was going to be a Bo Nickal victory. It was Bo Nickal by TKO in round 1. There was no way Kyle Daukaus was beating Bo Nickal.
Man, Bo Nickal has power.
He does. He's awkward, but he's strong.
Yeah, and this is his second KO. He's on a KO streak.
Yeah, I mean, Daukaus, welcome back to the UFC, but, Bo Nickal, he's got that Dana White privilege, and you had to die on the lawn for him.
Sean Strickland versus Bo Nickal. That's what we need.
You know what? In the Paramount era, I'm not going to discount it.
At the Apex.
You know what? We'll be seated. We'll be there.
Yeah. I will fly out to Las Vegas to the Apex. I'll find a seat and we'll watch Strickland. Strickland versus Bo Nickal.
Versus Nickal in the greatest arena in the world, the UFC Apex.
Mauricio Ruffy versus Michael Chandler. Did Chandler really have fight IQ? He was doing stuff that was
This
so
fight shocked
questionable.
me. I thought Chandler was going to win.
People always talk about round 1 Chandler being like the best fighter ever in the world, but we just saw him get TKO'd in the first round. He was falling for tricks that an MMA beginner could see from like a mile away. We all knew that was coming. We all knew Mauricio Ruffy loves his kicks. He was setting it up perfectly. At one point, he threw a Superman punch off the cage. What is he doing?
Yeah, and he really got broken down really easily, He really got phased after just a few punches.
Is his chin still there? We gotta question that.
Who do you
Oliveira.
think Chandler should fight next?
Probably Patchy Mix and Ryzen.
They didn't take him to the GFL. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
even still
No, come on.
exists.
He can just main event Apex cards now.
If we're being real, I do think him versus Terrence McKinney would be good, but I still see him losing that somehow. Even though Terrence McKinney's pretty chinny, he could get chinned by Chandler, and it's pretty winnable for him, but I still see Michael Chandler losing. I mean, he fights like he wants to get knocked out.
Give me like Chandler, Tom Nolan, or Chandler, Dariush.
Dariush, you might be cooking, bro. It's like the battle of the movable object versus the stoppable force. They're both on the tail ends of their careers, if we're being real. Dariush, he's not getting a title shot anytime soon. They're just gonna feed him to the up-and-comers. Same thing with Michael Chandler. Maybe a Dariush would be good. One of them is definitely gonna win. I think it's gonna be Dariush.
Good win from Ruffy. Chandler, your career's over.
Ruffy's one win away from a title shot.
Chandler got roofied. Josh Hokit versus Derrick Lewis. Now, if any fight was scripted, this would be the fight. There was one point where Hokit could have finished the round by submission, but the scriptwriters did not want that to happen. They wanted to be all KOs. I mean, look at his form. Look at what he's doing here. What kind of armbar is this?
That armbar was weird.
He could have raised his hips. It would have been over. And then, he knocked him out in round 2. At this point, we were on a 4-fight prediction streak.
This is the last fight me and you agreed on the result of.
Josh Hokit, this is his biggest win at the biggest card of the year. He could be facing off against Pereira if Pereira stays at heavyweight. I mean, he did shout out Pereira. Let's not forget that. I want a shama on your mama. However corny you may think that is, that may get him a Pereira fight.
Probably not after that Michelle Obama thing.
Let's not forget that The Obamas are Trump's biggest ops.
I mean, they're publicly mad, but on the inside, they're like, this is the guy.
Feed him.
Pavlovich would slime him out.
Yeah, if they really want to feed him to the wolves, that's Pavlovich, because we've seen him get chinned so many times. Curtis Blades. If the UFC likes Josh Hokit, they're not going to feed him to Pavlovich. I do think that would be the best fight to make. I think they're going to give him a softball.
Hell, he might not even fight for a while and get a title shot after that.
That's possible too. But, he's an entertaining fighter, entertaining on the mic as well, even though he's a little corny sometimes.
It was probably the worst fight of the night, but I mean, it was still solid. And that says a lot about this card, that this is the worst fight of the night. And it was actually like a decent fight.
Sean O'Malley versus Aiemann Zahabi. This is my cheeky little Aiemann Zahabi pick. I thought GSP, him being there could add a little bit of aura to Aiemann Zahabi. Maybe make him not be a decision merchant. I was wrong. I don't think I discounted Sean O'Malley at all. I just thought that he wasn't to the point where, he could be champ again. I think just being an American at the White House, that gives you some buffs on this card, because a lot of these American fighters performed a lot better than they usually do. Ended Aiemann Zahabi's 7-fight win streak. Shouted out Peter Yan.
It's a good win for Sean. This is where me and you split off. I predicted Sean to win by round 2. I forgot I think I said TKO, and he got a KO, I think. Yeah, I mean, it was a solid fight. Zahabi had these really weird running leg kicks, like inside low kicks, that didn't really seem like they were doing a whole lot, and he just kept spamming them. O'Malley had, I don't know if you saw, he had one of the best walk-off KOs I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
He knocked him down. He immediately started saluting the flag over a Canadian before the fight had even been stopped.
Vintage O'Malley.
Vintage O'Malley. I mean, just a great win from Sean. He proves he's still a top 3 bantamweight. People have been trying to take his spot, and he's been able to hold his own there. And while I don't think he's ready for a title shot just yet, I think, if Jan beats Merab, maybe you could make that fight, or he might need one more. But I mean, he's put himself in a really good spot with this win over a rising guy like Zahabi.
Oh, where does he go from here? Are they going to give him a title shot? There's only 2 options. It's either he waits until Merab has that rematch and then gets a title shot, or they feed him to Umar.
I think that they would rather wait and see if Jan beats Merab. And if Jan beats Merab, I think they'll just do O'Malley versus Jan too, and not put him against Umar, because they're probably scared of that matchup. But if Merab beats Jan, then I think you have to do Umar versus Sean, right?
Zahabi, his defense. We got to talk about that defense. The crab shell defense. It was working a little bit. They do say offense is the best form of defense. He didn't have any offense at all. Aiemann Zahabi wasn't doing anything. His only offense was those leg kicks that Landon was talking about. You need to do more than that. He lost the first round. Second round, you could tell he kind of wanted to push the pace. He got caught, knocked down a little bit, got back up. He was seeing stars. It wasn't looking good for him. He still decided to rush through and got put out. That was all she wrote for Aiemann Zahabi. That win streak goes right down the toilet. Who's he going to fight? Mario Batista or something now?
Batista's a good option. I think Bryce Mitchell wouldn't hurt either. That's a matchup I think I'd be fine seeing. I think Bryce Mitchell's kind of underrated at 135 right now. He's just been put in the meta rankings. I think he should be in the media rankings too. So I wouldn't hate that. I mean, I think Bryce Mitchell's really good. So one of those two, Batista or Bryce.
Moving on to the next one. This is the one I was looking forward to. Ciryl Gane versus Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira's walk-in, full of aura.
The one! The only!
And just to be put down like that in the second round via TKO with illegal shots to the back of the head.
Back of the head! Back of the head! What the hell? Back of the head! Back of the head!
Ciryl Gane. This guy's the dirtiest fighter in the world. Look at what Ciryl Gane did to John Jones. He kicked him in the balls. He out-dirtied so-called dirtiest fighter. That's why he's pound for pound dirtiest fighter. I guess you could count this as a win for America. Ciryl Gane's from France, and 250 years ago, France helped us beat the English. And, that's the reason why America is what it is today, because of the French.
That's a good point. You know what I think is funny, just looking at this picture? If you had shown me that image from the fight, before, Alex looking like he's shooting a takedown on Gane, what would your reaction have been?
I would have been like, wow, Alex is training with Glover. Takedowns really showing off, and it looks like Herb trying to step in, trying to stand the fight up. Nope, let Alex Pereira take him down. What are you doing, Herb? But yeah, Alex Pereira, the takedown merchant. It was
People
just
forget.
sad, man. It was just sad. People forget, and I wish I could forget this fight.
I feel like it was pretty evident. I mean, just me personally, like in the first round, that he was probably going to get knocked out. I think I said to you, even before the fight started, that he was going to get KO'd by a straight right. I mean, it was obvious. He was getting hit by the jab. He wasn't really able to get offense off. It seemed like the writing was on the wall. And then when he finally went down, you knew it was going to happen. And it's a shame that Gane had to use the back of the head shots, but he probably was gonna get finished anyway, sadly. Just gotta look forward to Tom hopefully putting this guy to sleep, and we'll never hear from him again.
Please, Tom Aspinall, if you can hear us, please save us. What would it take?
What would it take to beat Ciryl Gane in Madison Square Garden?
It would probably take big cup, some goggles, a
Helmet.
big helmet. Yep. That's what it would take, because this guy's so dirty, man. They need to stop him. He keeps getting away with it.
You can't keep getting away with it! He can't keep getting away with it! He won't.
Alex, he's trying to appeal the fight. I don't know if he'll get that appeal.
He won't. It's whatever.
It's not like it's open and shut, like he took PEDs or something. It's a little complex because some of the
Very
shots...
subjective.
Yeah, some of the shots were legal, some of them were illegal. But you never know if that would have impacted the fight had he not done it.
It's also hard to argue that he wouldn't have lost when he got dropped is what started that. So, the actual KO wasn't off back of the head shots. Like, he got back up and then got KO'd. So, I don't think he would win that.
Yeah, he lost the first round.
Oh, definitely.
It was a 10-9 round. So, it already wasn't looking good for him coming into the second round. Just to see our glorious king get defeated in such a dirty manner. But yeah, we kind of predicted this one too. The UFC cover curse. It strikes again. It's undefeated. This is baffling.
I didn't want it to be true, but I think you were onto something with it.
Check out the video, guys, by the way.
Yeah, shout out UFC cover curse video.
We'll always plug that video. We'll always find
We always
a way.
find a way to plug it somehow.
I don't know where Alex can go from here. I don't know if he's staying in heavyweight, if he's going to try to get a title shot in heavyweight. It'd be easier to go back down to light heavyweight, an Ankalaev trilogy, and then whoever wins that fight gets fight with Carlos Ulberg, or he could just go straight and fight Ulberg.
I think he would go straight to Ulberg. I think they'd give him that if he wanted to go back to light heavyweight.
I'm also hearing rumors that he may retire, would be a very big disappointment after this loss.
I honestly think that might be the best option here. I don't see a path to him being the champion at heavyweight, and does he really want to make that cut? He's 38, he's 250 pounds, he's a bigger guy. Like, it might just be time to hang him up and, know you're a top 5 fighter ever, arguably, and, you gave it your best shot to be a heavyweight and be a triple champ, and, nobody's ever going to fault you for failing that, so it might just be best to hang him up if you're Alex.
But how cinematic would it be for Alex Pereira? One last final fight, where it started. Madison Square Do It, as Colby Covington said. Face off against Carlos Ulberg for the light heavyweight belt. The belt which was his previously. Maybe he can regain that belt, at MSG, where his first UFC fight was, where his first championship fight was, where his double champ fight was against Yuri Prohaska. I mean, think about that. That would be fire. That'd be like a perfect script, a perfect bookend to the script. Our favorite guy, Justin.
Nobody's gonna
Gaethje.
understand it because nobody's gonna see the original part.
Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. After that Alex fight, I was not looking forward to this at all. Ilia was going to be an obvious win, but no, that's not what happened. Justin Gaethje came out with his beanie over his eyes, could barely see, walked into the octagon like the champ that he is, and just gave it his all, gave Ilia Topuria something he wasn't expecting. He rearranged his face. As Armin said, his face ID is probably not going to be working. That white rose that he had for Justin Gaethje, that's gone. This was just a bizarre fight. This is the moment where I really just came to the realization that this whole thing was a script, that we are living in a Rocky movie. It's literally Rocky. Rufus 250. That's what the event should be called. Rufus 250. Big Rufus, the underdog, the American guy that No one is expecting to win against the unstoppable phenom, pound for pound number 2 in Ilia Topuria, double champ, knocks everybody out, knocked Max Holloway out, who knocked out Justin Gaethje, and somehow Justin Gaethje is able to dominate, just give us a performance that, we've never seen before from an opponent of Ilia Topuria. I mean, hats off to Justin Gaethje. It was a great fight. The first round, when we really realized that Justin Gaethje had something, had potential to win, to the second round where it was such a close call. And everyone in the second round, Ilia always loses the first round. He always comes back in the second round, happening as Volkanovski. He cornered him off against the cage. And we saw it almost happen against Justin Gaethje. It was so close. He was trying to grapple with him. That just gave Justin Gaethje the extra momentum to win the rest of the fight.
I mean, this is just a war fight of the night easily. Shocking. Like you said, I mean, I think you remember when the fight got waved off after round 4. Me and you didn't even react at first. We just looked at each other, our mouths wide open, before even reacting to it. I think that just kind of illustrates what the vibe was. It felt like Topuria was going to win easily, and then Gaethje just found a way. I made fun of the edits in the prediction video, but they turned out to be true. Gaethje really was.
Man.
Round 1, Gaethje clearly won. I thought round 2 was clearly Topuria, 3 was clearly Gaethje, and then 4 was very contested. But the overall damage Gaethje put on him over those 20 minutes, was enough for Alexander Topuria to kind of save his brother for another day and stop the fight after an absolute war. Topuria almost finished him in round 2. Credit to Mark Goddard for not stopping it. He's usually a guy who gets a lot of early stoppages, but. Overall, just a great fight. Shocking result, but, a good result for America, a good result for the event that Gaethje got the win.
And we got to mention that cinematic moment after round 3 when the doctor came in and he was so close to stopping the fight.
I don't know what he was looking at. And this isn't even biased because I wanted Topuria to win. Topuria's eyes were just wide open. Even the guy behind me said it when we were watching, and then the second doctor came in and the ref came in and they're like, no, he can see fine. So I don't know what the first doctor was doing. I think he might have had the Gaethje money line or something, but I'm glad it went to a round 4 so that we can get an actual real stoppage in there. What I would have thought would have been a really controversial moment of him stopping the fight. And that crowd reaction, if you remember when the first doctor came in and looked at him and then he turned his head to Goddard and shook his head, the crowd reaction to that was crazy. Everyone was shocked. Again, thankfully it didn't get stopped there and we got to see Gaethje have another round to kind of cement it, but I mean that was crazy. I thought that was insane that almost got stopped there.
I mean, if it was a usual card, it would have gotten stopped. This is a cinematic experience. This is just something that would only come from a movie, but it happened in real life. This is a fight we're going to be talking about for years to come. Remember when Justin Gaethje somehow won? No one thought he was going to win. It was a pipe dream. It was pie in the sky. It was never supposed to happen. Justin Gaethje was going to be that guy that just never became champ, but he did it. He pulled it out. We got to give credit to Trevor Whitman as well and Onyx Jim, because you could tell that, some of the strategies that he used to get out of those corners, to out-circle him, that came straight from Trevor Whitman. You could just tell. Justin Gaethje, his victory speech, it just felt so surreal at that moment.
Overall, what a fire card. What a fire event. I mean, you kind of run out of words to say. Just an incredible experience. Being there was amazing. And, they followed it up with a great fight card. This could have been a stinker. And I wouldn't say it would have ruined everything, but it would have, been a kind of a bad end to it. But, on top of the great event they put on, they give you an amazing fight card. So, I mean, it was great. 10 out of 10 experience, I think.
Winners and losers. Biggest winners. My boy Justin Gaethje and Josh Hokit. Justin Gaethje, he could retire now. He could do whatever he wants. He could ride off into the sunset, could fight Aiemann. He has the power. He became champ. And, at his age, it's perfect timing. Hokit, he's kind of the opposite. He's still up and coming, but this fight cemented him as, not just a fluky guy, but as an actual talented fighter that can make his way up heavyweight and possibly become champion in the future. Gives him a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Gaethje's the big winner. He walks out champion. His legacy is cemented. He's finally undisputed after all these years. Like you said, Hokit is just certified now. You can't call it a fluke against Blades because he's also got a win against Lewis, which is 2 top 10 wins, and now he's a certified top 5 guy. And, I have questions about whether he can really beat anyone else in the top 5, but, we'll see. And the fact that he's got this opportunity this early in his career is a good thing. And, he's obviously a big winner from this one.
Biggest losers. Ilia. The biggest aura loss. I mean, coming into the fight, he had so much aura. He was the guy that was projected to win. Coming off of the fight, I mean, look at the haircut, look at the face. He just did not look like himself. He had to take the 18-0 off of his bio. Think about that. I mean, he's in aura debt right now. I don't know where he would even go from here. Some people are saying he doesn't even deserve an instant rematch, which I disagree with, even though, I'm not the biggest Ilia Topuria fan. Broke his orbital bones. He has to admit defeat because he didn't just get KO'd or submitted. He was dominated throughout the whole fight. Not the best night for Ilia Topuria.
I think he deserves the instant rematch if he wants it. I don't know that he's going to be back in time for it. So, I mean, whether it's Gaethje, whether it's Charles, whether it's Aiemann, I mean, I think he should fight for a title next. And I feel like the loss isn't necessarily a career loss. Like, I don't think it's really going to derail him in terms of, like, where his trajectory is. I think this is more just an aura loss. And it's just rough to see him kind of fall like this and have a performance like this when he's kind of at his peak. And he's definitely the biggest loser, I think, from the entire thing. But, he'll bounce back. He's a great fighter, and we've seen him face adversity before in the form of his divorce, and I think he's just in a rough patch right now, and he'll be back for sure.
Recency bias. This event, a couple weeks ago, right after the event ended, people were already saying, how good of an event it was. Maybe it was the greatest UFC event, but is it too soon to say that? Is it the greatest UFC event of all time?
I think if you look at the totality of it, it is. I mean, the entire fan experience. You'll never get a venue that great again, being on the White House lawn. Just the optics of it. I think everything made it the greatest event ever. It wasn't the best fight card ever. You can definitely find better ones, but I mean, the fact that it was a great elite fight card with all finishes definitely contributed to it. Maybe it is recency bias. I think it's either this or 300. The only two you can really throw out there in terms of the best ever, and I would not follow anyone who thinks that it's the best.
I will be dropping a poll. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Is it the greatest UFC event so far? Great event. Don't agree with all the politics, but strictly the fights and, what happened at the fan fest and stuff. It was pretty fun.
It was a great event. It was great being there. Great watching the fights, and, everything about it I thought was just amazing, and it was a lot of fun to be there. It was a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully they can try to keep this momentum going for the rest of the year.